Hi, welcome everybody to the 10th episode of That's Some Crazy Shit with Kelly and James. I am Kelly and my co-host is James. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Kamo?
Hanging in there?
Hanging in there.
How was your week?
Recently, I had to have a procedure done that required an IV.
Yeah.
And I wanted to shout out to Katie, who did my IV, because a lot of times these people do the jab and hunt and poke. She was smooth. She got the vein the first time. Right on. Thank you.
So Katie was the one with the happy juice.
She was the one with the IV. She didn't bring the happy juice, but she was the one with the IV.
She was the one that allowed. She's the one that hooked up the gateway. She hooked up the gateway to the happy juice. So yeah. Way to go, Katie. Well, I'm glad your procedure, I'm glad was successful. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So thank you. And then we have a guest with us today. Somebody had mentioned that we should have listeners as guests, and I'm all for it. So if a listener has a crazy shit topic that they want to bring and they want to come on the podcast and talk about it, yeah, let's do it. So today we have Chin Archuleta. She is going to bring us people who have made deals with the devil. She is a long-time listener. And I mean, all 9 episode listener. She's listened to every single one
from the start,
from the beginning.
Yeah,
and so she is going to come on and do deals with the devil. Chin, say hi so people know that you're a real person and it's not me and James doing a voice.
Hello.
See, that's Chin. And so we'll get to Chin will be joining us on the second half, but she'll be around for the first half as well. So as always, we do this podcast because me and James like to hash out crazy shit. So we thought we would put a podcast together. We appreciate you listening to us. I know that there are many podcasts you can listen to, and we are honored that you've taken the hour to spend with us. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
James, as always, tell everybody why, or I guess the why, the objective, the mission statement, why we do the podcast.
Well, Kel, the objective of our podcast is to talk about these subjects that just aren't your mainstream type of subjects, the paranormal, the metaphysical, and the crazy
shit.
The crazy shit, because you have to admit, if you were at work and you told someone I got abducted by aliens last night, they'd be like, oh, well, it was nice working with you.
Yeah.
So,
there is the door.
Yeah, and so, we want to talk about these subjects and let people know when we say that's some crazy shit, we're not saying that you're crazy, that you're insane. We're not saying, it's just that these things are happening and they're so unbelievable, and yet people still won't accept them. They still don't believe they're happening.
Yeah, and that's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. And, crazy shit is just not paranormal.
No.
Crazy shit can be just everyday shit too. So we'll mix it up. We'll have the paranormal, weird, crazy shit, and then we'll have the everyday crazy shit as well. As always, we are not experts. We never claim to be. We like to bring you some theory, some written information, a guest, along with our ever so valuable opinion. And we want to interact with you, and so you can connect with us on social media. You can email us at thatsomecrazyshitpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at thatsomecrazyshit. We're on Instagram at @that's_some_crazy_shit. We're on Facebook, K and J's Crazy Shit. And we are on YouTube, That's Some Crazy Shit. You can like us, tag us, whatever you do on social media that is good, like sharing us with a friend or liking us, do that. If it's bad, we don't want that. We don't want that, do we? No, we don't want that.
And real quickly, Kel, thanks for putting all that out there because we want to have people. We want to be a platform for these people that have these experiences. We want to have a place where they can come and be comfortable and not think they're going to get ridiculed. If you have a story that you want to share, hit us up on one of those. Let us know your experience.
Yeah, great. And, email is a great way to do it. Like I said, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email. You can get at us. And I know that earlier, like a couple episodes ago, at the beginning of the month, we had talked about having a guest for every single weekend of the month. And that shit did not work out, James. Shit happened.
2020, man.
I crashed in. So we had to pivot and change our plans. And we are flexible. However, we do have a guest next week. Chris Shiflett is coming on. Chris has studied Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And so he will be on next week to talk about why acupuncture is some crazy shit. And it is some crazy shit.
I'm excited.
If you've never tried it and you're thinking about it, or you think, oh, that shit doesn't work, I am telling you, acupuncture works. Chris is going to come on and he's going to tell us all about it. I'm excited.
Me too.
All right. So with no further ado, we are going to get it right into it. Chin and James, let's talk superstitions. Whenever you're ready, dude.
Oh, I was pausing. You could pay some bills. Sorry. So
we don't pay the bills here. We pay the bills later in the show. So
okay.
You're good.
So when I was going through these, we talked about how superstitions are in society and pop culture and things like this. And so I thought I'd look at the superstitions in sports. Now, anyone who's played sports, they're superstitious about certain things. You've got your lucky pair of socks. You don't want to eat anything other than a taco before the big game. Everyone has superstitions. So when I was going through these, I was amazed by some of the ones that are kind of off. I have to smile on this one. I found that Les Miles, who was the coach of LSU from 2005 to 2016, he has a superstition where he will go out on the field to play and he will pick some grass up and he eats the grass.
Wherever they play?
Yeah, wherever they play. I mean, a lot of the fields now are synthetic, but...
So how do you do that? How do you eat
I
grass?
don't know if it's changed now or what, but his philosophy was, that it kept him humble and it put him in contact and in touch with the game, so he had a better feel for the game.
Okay, now this dude was the coach?
Yeah, he was a coach, and I'm not sure. I think they won a national title during that time, during his span. So,
did he say like what started that superstition? Like, you just don't randomly decide one day that you're going to go eat grass to win a game, unless of course.
And I'm sure it didn't say in the research that I pulled up. It didn't say how it started, but it could be just some people like to chew on that long stalk of grass. I remember when I was a kid, you'd chew on it. Maybe one day he was just chewing on it and they won a big game, and he's like, oh. Who knows how these things get started? But yeah, that's a good question. But it did say how it got started. But I thought that was interesting.
Huh, he ate the grass. Okay.
Yep. And then another one, and I had seen this once before, and I was blown away by it when I first saw it. In hockey, the Detroit Red Wings. I can't say that. Say that twice.
Red Wings?
When I was watching them, they were in the playoff, they scored a goal, and all of a sudden, all these octopi came onto the rink. And when I first saw it, I was like,
okay,
what?
So wait, back up. Were people throwing the octopi out there?
Yeah, they're throwing them on
real live octopuses.
Well, I don't know if they were live, but they were throwing them out there. Probably by the time, they couldn't be alive because,
But I'm saying that they were real octopuses. Real octopuses.
Yeah. So and they actually said how this was started. It was during the playoff time, and the legend is in 1952, the Red Wings needed only 8 wins at the time to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
So this guy, and his name was wrong one, sorry. Went too far. They didn't say his name. But after that, they went on to sweep the playoffs and win the Stanley Cup. So that's how that tradition.
Okay, you lost me. Back up because I'm a little slow on the uptake.
All right.
You said they were 8 wins away. Then you said a guy. You don't know the guy's name. There wasn't a guy.
Didn't say.
So you don't know how it started.
No, this is how it started. They don't know the guy's name. Okay, and I'm sure I could find it if I looked into it. That's how.
Help me. Okay, wait a minute. Help me because I'm slow. So, okay, they were 8 wins away from the Stanley Cup.
An octopus has how many legs?
Okay, that's the connection. Thank you. I didn't know if I missed a part of the story. And I know that probably everybody's saying, God, Kelly, 8 wins, octopus, 8 legs. I get it, but I just wanted to make sure.
You're all right. You're all right. So they went on to win the Stanley Cup, and that's how that one started. All right, and then this one I thought was interesting. The Florida Panthers, they came up with a rat trick, which is a play on words for a hat trick. And in hockey, a hat trick is when you score 3 goals. So if you score 3 goals, you get a hat trick. I don't know how it got started, Kel. Sorry, I didn't go that deep. But that was I knew you were going to ask that, and I should have. And so this guy, his name was Scott, I hope I say his name right, Mellenby, he killed a rat in the locker room before the game. So then he goes out and scores 3 goals with the hockey stick that he killed the rat with. So now it's known as a rat trick in the Florida Panthers organization. So whenever they score a goal, fans will throw rubber rats onto the ice.
Okay, at least they're not real rats. That would be.
Well, let's hope not.
Scary.
Let's hope not.
That would be a little scary.
That would be a little scary. All right, and then you go to football, which I thought there's a couple interesting ones. All right, so you think of football as this is a pretty physical, brutal sport. You got men who are trying to not hurt each other, but they're trying to lay some licks on each other. Okay, so you go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had a defensive end who was 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighed 350 pounds.
Okay, that's a big dude.
That's a big dude. So, you're probably not too intimidated by too many people. You're not going to get too fired up, So his tradition was he would have one of the trainers slap him as hard as he could to help get him fired up for the game. And he would do this every game.
Wow.
So that
was his thing. That was his superstition.
That was his thing, yeah.
To have a good game, to get slapped.
Yeah, in order to have a good game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine slapping a giant?
No. Well, your hand. That would hurt my delicate hand.
It would hurt my hand. This guy, you slapping a giant, man.
That would hurt. I wouldn't do it.
So we go from this football player, and now we go to another one who's Brian Urlacher, who football fans will know was a future Hall of Famer linebacker for the Chicago Bears. Yeah, so you would think that this guy to get fired up would want something just as crazy. Okay, so his pregame, in order for him to have a good game, he had to have 2 cookies, preferably chocolate chip.
I'm with him. Chocolate chip cookies will solve everything. Got a problem? Chocolate chip
cookie.
No money in the bank? chocolate chip cookie.
You got it. See, so that's how he got fired up. And it makes you wonder
turned off?
If he got pissed off, if you took his cookies away, what kind of game he would have.
A horrible game.
You never know. You could say, hey, you know what, Brian? They took your cookies, dude.
Oh, you're trying to get into his head now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. Lost your job? Chocolate chip cookie will solve all that. Yeah. And in a pinch, if there are no chocolate chip cookies, Snickerdoodle is a great stand-in. Cookies will solve all your problems. You heard it first here.
Remember when you asked why we need a script?
Yeah, this is why. But cookies will. He said cookie.
I do. You couldn't have said chocolate chip cookie with Kelly.
You said cookie.
Yeah, so. Now, some of these guys, you get some of these other superstitions where guys will have a good game and then maybe not want to wash the shirt they're wearing under their uniform.
That's nasty.
That is nasty. I couldn't deal with that one. This guy, who was a baseball player, played for the San Francisco Giants, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Steve Klein. He would wear the same hat all season. And usually these guys maybe will trade hats every game or whatever, I don't know how often they would do it, but he said as the season progressed and he saw how ragged the hat got, it reminded him, what he had been through.
Oh, okay.
And so it kept him focused at the end, where it's like, you know what, look at your hat, look where you've been, look where we're at, just keep focused. You got to get to the end of the season. And I thought that was interesting.
The same hat. Did he have a good season? Hat. Do you know? Was he a good baseball player? I'm unfamiliar with Steve Klein.
I don't really know. I'm not a really big baseball fan anymore. I follow the Cubs, but that's about it. Gotcha. And then this was interesting. Serena Williams, if she were having a good tournament, she would wear the same socks and not wash them.
Hey, it's funny how superstitions work, huh? Because they are they are like universal through our culture as people, right? There are superstitions all over the world, and that's just sports.
Yeah, and so you got baseball. We talked about football. We talked about hockey, and so people, well, that's all of them. Well, NASCAR, I found a couple of NASCAR, and I have to ask my friend Max Aragon if he knew these. It's a superstition in NASCAR that no peanuts in shells be allowed on the racetrack, the race grounds.
Really? Why is that? Do you know why?
And the legend was that when a driver early in NASCAR had a horrific crash. He died in a fire, in fact. And then when they finally were able to put out the fire, there were some shelled peanuts that weren't burnt, according to legend. So that was a bad omen. So no peanuts and shells are allowed on NASCAR grounds. I thought that was interesting too. And another one was there are no $50 bills allowed on the NASCAR grounds.
Do you know why?
Funny you should ask. A NASCAR racer, a champion named Joe Weatherby, after he was killed in 1964, and this is one of those things, they don't know how much is truth and how much is legend, but this is why you can't have 50s. When he died, there's 2 50s found in his shirt pocket. And so that's a bad thing.
So no 50s at 50s, NASCAR, no
peanuts in shells.
Peanuts and shells.
Yeah. And then we jump back to baseball, where a player who played in Chicago for the White Sox, in the 50s, he was having a bad streak. And his name was Manny Minoso. And, a lot of baseball fans will know him as, old-time player. But he was having a bad streak, and he decided to get the funk and bad vibes, bad juju, whatever, out of the uniform. He showered in his uniform before the game. All right. So his teammates are like, what's going on, dude? That's some crazy shit. And he's like, yeah, I want to get rid of all the bad energy, whatever. He goes out and has a crazy game. And for the rest of the year, the team would shower in their uniforms before the game.
So he had the entire team showering in their uniforms before the game.
Before the game.
That is funny. That's
I thought
funny.
That was funny too. But that just goes to show, when you're supporting a teammate, even if you don't believe it, you might buy into it. Just like you don't want to be the only one on your team who doesn't do it.
True, because then if the team was to have a terrible game, they would blame you for that juju, right? You're the only one who didn't take the shower, and now we lost. It's your fault. You're the dude with the bad juju. You got to go.
Right.
Interesting.
So I thought that was interesting.
Any more on sports superstitions?
There's one cool one that runs. There's a bunch of hitters who would sleep with their bat. There's a basketball player one, Jason Terry. Before every game, he would sleep in his opponent's uniform shorts.
How did he get the shorts, James?
Well, he would have a trainer get him somehow.
Like a player's shorts?
I'm not sure if it was a player short or maybe who knows if they were even really team uniform. They might have just bought them. I don't know. It didn't specify.
Oh, but it was maybe it had like that team's logo on it or something.
Right. So,
gotcha.
And then the last one I knew of was Michael Jordan. After he got into the NBA, he would wear his North Carolina Tar Heels uniform shorts under his Bull shorts.
Huh.
Before every game.
I did not
and you can go
that.
on and on, man. They're crazy.
A couple of superstitions from around the world that I'll tell you about that I thought was interesting, because everything that you talked about was sports related, kind of like American, right? So I've got some superstitions from around the world. So the one I found was interesting in Zimbabwe. If you are kidnapped by a mermaid, and yes, they do believe in mermaids, and your family sheds even one tear for you, the mermaid will never return you to the family.
Oh, you're fucked. You gotta hope your family's a bunch of
If the mermaid takes you away, you cannot cry because you are not coming back. That's a superstition.
Keeping your ass.
In Mexico, they say that if you put two mirrors in front of one another, that you have opened up a threshold for the devil.
And you know what? I could see that one.
Okay.
Because we talked about mirrors before being portals.
We've talked about mirrors. In the Philippines, you don't go straight home after a wake, right? Like not a funeral, but a wake. Instead, you must make a pit stop somewhere to shake off any bad spirits that may have followed you. And that could be like a Starbucks. Yeah, take them to Starbucks. Or take them to McDonald's.
I know.
Take the bad spirits to McDonald's. And then also, you need to change your clothes before you enter the house. And that is so that the bad spirits don't follow you into the house. So that's in the Philippines. India has a lot. So here's one. If you like to leave the house before being swept, so you'll never have a successful day. So sweep before you leave the house, okay? If you move after a black cat crosses your path, you'll have a bad accident. You'll have a bad accident.
But you know how you undo it?
How you undo it?
You take 13 steps backwards.
I didn't read that, but okay. What if you can't take 13 steps backwards?
Then you're screwed.
Okay. So, speaking of 13, if you are born on the 13th day, then you're going to be unlucky and uncanny.
Do you know anyone who's born on the 13th? Do we?
I don't.
Who, Chin?
Who's born on the 13th, Chin?
My nephew and niece.
Are they unlucky and uncanny?
No, they're my sister's kids that are.
Oh, yeah. They're not.
Financial advisors.
Or uncanny.
And a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one. If you cut your nails or shave on Tuesday or Thursday or wash your hair on Saturday, you will invite bad luck.
Ah, shit!
I only wash my hair on Saturdays.
I know!
Maybe that's the problem, people. I'm just telling you. Okay, so broken glass, broken artifacts, broken mirror allows the devil's abode into your house. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I knew the mirror one. I didn't know all the other ones.
Those are some from around the world. So what I thought we would do now is I thought we would take a break, pay some bills, come back. I can tell you like the common superstitions, and not so much that they're common, it's like where did they come from? Because I'll ask you a question. Do you ever find yourself knocking on wood?
Yeah.
Do you know why you knock on wood?
Because it has something with keeping the demons in the tree or something.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. When we get back, I'll tell you why it's so common and knocking on wood is such a popular superstition. So we're going to take a break right here. We're going to pay some bills, and then we'll be back. If you haven't heard about Anchor, let me tell you, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free, and free's always good. There's these really great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And then Anchor will take your podcast and distribute it for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one place to make a podcast. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's everything you need to make a podcast. All right, so we are back, and I'm going to tell you some superstitions that are very, very, very common. So the first one, knocking on wood. You know, everybody's probably knocked on wood, and actually, believe it or not, this is a widely known superstition from medieval times when European churchgoers would touch wood. The churches had claimed was from the cross.
Huh?
And so touching wood supposedly gave you a connection to divinity, thus good luck. So that's when you say, I'm going to knock on wood. That's where that came from.
Why do you do it 3 times?
It didn't say 3. Maybe because 3 is just that number, but it didn't say 3, right? Another one is the evil eye, right? So, and I talked about the evil eye as a curse, right? So to guard against the evil eye, people get charms, like I said, that resemble eyes themselves. It's very common in Greece, Egypt, Iran, Morocco, Afghanistan. The evil eye is a very common superstition.
Now, is that like the Eye of Horus?
I don't know no, I don't know. Remember we talked about curses, and the evil eye is more of a curse / superstition.
Yeah, but
right?
It looks like the Eye of Horus.
I don't know, James. Friday the 13th. We just had that happen, but in Spain.
That's to do with the crusade or the. Oh shit! Now I forgot.
In Spain, it's not Friday the 13th. It's Tuesday the 13th. In Spain and Spanish-speaking country, it's Tuesday the 13th, because it says it comes from the Roman god of war, Mars. For forever tying to the day of violence, death, and bloodshed. So Tuesday the 14th is not good. In the Fourth Crusade, it was supposedly said that Constantinople fell on Tuesday the 13th. Yeah, whatever. Thank you. And then the Turks supposedly claimed the city on Tuesday the 13th, 200 years later. Tuesday the 13th, not a good day. Whistling. Do you like to whistle indoors?
When I work.
So guess what? It is ill-advised in Russia and Norwegian. You do not whistle indoors. It leads to financial problems in Russia. And in Norway, if you whistle at the sun, it causes rain.
Oh, really?
That's what they say. Does anybody ever told you not to toast with water?
No.
You've never heard that it's bad luck to toast with water? Like if you're doing a toast.
Water?
Yeah, like if you're doing like a toast, like everybody
lets use water. I'm toasting. I'm on alcohol.
Okay, but it's bad luck to toast with water, and I'll tell you why. Okay. If you want to wish death upon someone, you toast them with water. And that's according to the German superstition. That tale is derived from a Greek myth where spirits of the dead would drink the water from the river. Is it Lethe? Lethe, the goddess and river of forgetfulness, would cause the spirit to forget its earthly past before it passed into the underworld. So you do not toast with water. It is bad luck. And last one, and then we'll go into people who have made deals with the devil, because I had found a bunch of them. But the one I thought was interesting enough was, because we had talked about this before, was Argentinian werewolves. Okay, so there's a superstition in Argentina that claims the seventh sons will turn into werewolves unless the president of the country adopts them. The superstition was reportedly brought to Argentina.
That's crazy.
Yes, the superstition was reportedly brought to Argentina in 1907 by two Russian immigrants, where the customs held that the Tsar became the godfather to the seventh sons, right? So Kirchner, who was Argentina's president from 2007 to 2015, was said to have adopted a boy as her grandson because of the centuries-old superstition. So she actually adopted this seventh son because of this superstition. Otherwise, it's werewolf time.
Right on.
All right, so that is all the
question.
Yes.
I have when I spill salt, I throw it over my shoulder. Why do I do that? I don't even know why.
You know what? I didn't even I didn't see anything on salt. That was not one of the ones that I found.
The Romans.
I don't know why, but I've always been told if you have
to throw over your left
salt, you have to.
You spill salt, right? You throw it over your shoulder, right?
Yeah.
I've heard that too. I used to work with a girl who wouldn't work on the Friday the 13th. She took that day off. She did not. It scared her. She believed it. And it's funny because they say superstitions have no real basis, right? They're just what people
believe, man. Belief.
It's like another one that was common was walking under a ladder is a superstition.
Well, that's just common.
Those were Bugs Bunny.
Common sense. Yeah, don't walk under a ladder. Shit's going to fall on you. Or you're going to make the guy in the ladder fall.
Then the piano drops on your head.
Yeah, no shit.
But you're also okay in a Bugs Bunny cartoon too.
Yeah, you're good. If you're Wile E, you're okay. Brush it off.
All right, Chin. So let's hear it. Let's hear about people who have made deals with the devil.
Okay. So, first of all, I got into this because I don't know if you know this. I am obsessed with the Allman Brothers, especially Dwayne Allman. I was 6 when he died, but I know he was my soulmate. Oh, yeah. So,
and I've never seen you act this way.
So, Greg Allman does it to her, man.
Dwayne Allman. Dwayne. It was Dwayne.
Dwayne. Sorry.
Oh, man. Anyway, so the Allman Brothers were into the blues, and my cousin's in a band that sings blues. So there's a big superstition about this guy named Robert Johnson. That's why I thought about this, as Robert Johnson. So Robert Johnson he's known as the father of the Delta Blues. And he was born in 1911 to a poor family in Mississippi. And the story goes that when he was 18, he really wanted to play the guitar, but didn't know how. So he disappears. And he's gone for like a year. And it said that he brought his guitar to a local crossroads and waited at a junction of the two. And at midnight, a large black man appeared, tuned Johnson's guitar, and showed him a few licks and disappeared into the night. And when Johnson came back to Mississippi, he was the best guitarist in the world. He has a song called The Crossroads, and that's supposed to depict the location in Mississippi where he made the pact with the devil. And Johnson died in 1938 at the age of 27, which is a notorious age for musicians who died young. Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, those guys. So I don't know if that's what the 27
club. Yeah, the 27 club, yeah.
Okay. The next one is Bob Dylan. I was really surprised at some of these. So Bob Dylan, the song Crossroads tells you the story of being at a crossroads. And in the song, he falls to his knees and pleads to the Lord to help save his soul. And you think he's referring to God, but in the last line, and you've heard Eric Clapton did a remake of this song too. It says, "And I stand at the crossroads, I believe I'm sinking down." Most people believe that Dylan is referring to the same place that Robert Johnson went to sell his soul. And during an interview one time, Dylan refers to this bargain that he references in his song. And he said it goes back to that destiny thing. And I made a bargain with it a long time ago. This is what this interview said. And I'm holding up my hand. And so the interviewer asks, what bargain and with who? And Dylan says, to get to where I am now, and you know, with the chief commander on this earth and in the world we cannot see. So then, do you want me to just keep going? Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
So
Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan still, you guys are going to kill me for this because I really don't know. He's still alive, right?
Yes, he is.
Is he still making music?
No, but he's like so famous that...
Right. I know who he is. I'm just saying.
I don't know if he still makes music or not.
Interesting.
I know he was a huge influence on my late husband, Dwayne.
And I know that Bob Dylan could not sing either, right?
No. So how did he make all that money with that nasally voice?
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
So, a lot of people like him, though.
Yeah, they do. Whatever. So the next person I found, he really didn't really sell his soul, but his name was Aleister Crowley.
Oh,
we talked about him last week.
Oh, did you? So he's the English occultist. So you already know about him, but he started the religion. How do you say it? Thelemia. And basically, their sole rule is THELEMA. Is do what thou wilt, as in do whatever you want with your own life. He encouraged people to do yoga, meditate, and focus their goals and intentions while having sex. So
we talked about that.
Okay. So
and they did a lot of rituals with sex, trying to conjure up the devil.
Yeah. So the devil, but in the Da Vinci Code, or they have all the sex rites too. Anyway. Okay. So the reason I mentioned Aleister Crowley is because Jimmy Page, the guitarist of Led Zeppelin, is very interested in Aleister Crowley and his occult teachings. In fact, he was such a big fan that he bought Crowley's former home in Loch Ness, Scotland. And this led to a lot of people to believing that Page must have sold his soul to the devil. And people began to spread rumors that if Jimmy Page was Satanist, then the entire band of Led Zeppelin was too. This started the myth that if you play Stairway to Heaven backwards, you will hear demonic voices speaking.
I heard that when we were kids. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that.
I did, but I didn't understand how to turn the record up to make it go backwards.
So, and for those that you don't know, back in the day, we had record players. And we would get these big giant discs made out of vinyl called records. And we would put them on a machine and they would spin around and we'd put this little needle on it and sound would come out. Just let me know. Yeah, that's how we did it back in the day. Just if you didn't know what a record was, that's what we're talking about. So
I think most people might. They have parents, you know. Okay, here's the last one. Was Johann Georg Faust. Legend is Dr. Faust was an alchemist and astronomer who lived in Germany in the early 1500s. He wanted to be the smartest man in the whole world and enjoy many earthly pleasures as he could while he was alive. And it said he made a deal with a demon called Mephistopheles, I think. The story is that in the pursuit of forbidden knowledge, he traveled to a crossroads, because that's always in there, in a Germanic forest, and summoned the devil from inside a protective circle. He performed an unholy ritual, and before long, lightning appeared in the sky, and the entire forest was laid to waste. And then, according to records about Faust, he sodomized some of his male students and was generally abusive towards everyone. And as a professor, he thought, I am better than all of you, and was kind of a dick to everybody. And the local priest believed that he was in cahoots with the devil, and that his pet dog was actually a demon who could transform in and out of canine form and into human manservant.
So his dog was a shapeshifter.
Yep.
Interesting.
So there was a lot on this.
Skinwalkers.
The what? Yeah, there you go.
Skinwalkers.
You know, there's a thing on Netflix about the Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did. We're actually going to do Skinwalkers next season, because it's just really interesting. We've touched on Skinwalker Ranch, but we haven't really dived into it yet.
It was weird, but anyway. So to sum up all that, there was just a whole bunch of crap on this. People made a deal with devil. Mostly they're musicians, artists. But I did see a site that said Jay-Z and Katy Perry also had made deals with the devil.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You know, I did quickly look up, Chin, while you were talking about that, about the superstition about salt, right? So do you want to know why? It comes from, the widespread superstition that spilling salt brings bad luck is believed to have originated from the overturned salt cellar in front of Judas at the Last Supper. So that is why if you spill salt, that is where it came from. And that is in Da Vinci's picture, The Last Supper. Judas has salt, I guess, spilt in front of him. And that's why, because I quickly went to the internet and looked it up. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
True on the internet.
Everything pretty much is true on the internet. But I thought that was kind of interesting because we don't even know why we do it. Right? A lot of superstitions, we don't know why we do them. And, lastly, I didn't even bother to find out why Friday the 13th was a superstition. Does anybody know why Friday the 13th is a superstition?
I thought that's when, the Templars. That's when the Templars were rounded up and all that stuff.
Wow, did you guys just hear that?
Yeah.
That was freaky.
What was it?
My bad.
Oh, was that you, James?
That sounded like a race car.
It did sound like a race car. Was it a race car? What are you doing, James?
I'm trying to fix my earphones. Is it too loud for you guys, my microphone?
No, you sound good. You sound actually really good. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting about Friday the 13th. So guess what, you guys? We still have enough time for random bullshit. Great, you guys. So random bullshit. And I almost forgot, every single episode, James, we have shouted out Chef Bella. Chef Bella was nice enough to give prizes to a couple of our listeners in the past. And so I just want to shout her out again. Today's episode on superstitions and deals with the devil was brought to you by Chef Bella B, offering personal chef services and spices and sauces on our website. You can get to her at www.chefbellabkitchen. That's her website. Or she is on Instagram at Chef Bella B. Also,
real quickly, Kelly, I made corned beef hash using her potato seasoning. It came out
good.
Really good. It was good.
Yeah, her seasonings are really good. And then, Deals with the Devil was brought to you by Bright-Headed Publishing. Bright-Headed Publishing, they are a small publishing company with dreams of helping those people who want to be published become published. They're actually starting their own podcast on 11/15. It is a patio book podcast. They will be reading books of new authors, all genres. And so that will be really interesting. We'll be sure to shout them out and provide the links on our Instagram and Facebook when we get those. So we are moving in to random bullshit. So you guys, I have through the week, as the week goes, I always come up with some questions that just come into my head, and sometimes we'll hash them out, and I tend to ask a lot of questions, and so we've made the last part of the show, random bullshit. So my question to you is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Hot dog is a hot dog.
But is it a
Is a thumb a finger?
Say it again.
Is a thumb a finger?
So is a thumb? It's a digit, isn't it?
So is a hot dog a sandwich?
So wouldn't it be part of? Never mind.
Well, no, you're
I
fine.
thought the definition was a piece of meat between two pieces of bread. Would a bun be considered two pieces because it has a hinge?
Yeah, a bun is two pieces of bread. Yep. So I don't know. I just thought that is a hot dog a sandwich. But here's something I read that made me laugh, and I was trying to get Chin to humor me, but she wasn't really into it. So I'll ask you, James, and Chin, you can chime in too. How many chickens do you think it would take to kill an elephant? And Chin's, peck them to death? Well, how else do chickens kill?
I don't know.
My thing is, if you were to freeze the chicken and shoot it out some kind of air cannon, you'd probably kill an elephant.
Okay, wait.
One
well positioned.
Right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Between the eyes.
Right between the eyes, baby.
Well, I didn't say if the chicken had to be alive or dead.
No,
So
fine.
That's good, James. Okay. Last one, you guys, because James just killed my whole chicken thing. I had ninja chickens and everything, but you killed it. You killed the whole thing. All right. So, if you were wrongfully put in an insane asylum, how would you convince them that you're actually sane without and not just pretending to be sane?
I would hope one of you guys would vouch for me.
Nope, that's not happening.
Well, then I'm stuck.
Because we're all in the insane asylum. We can't vouch for one another.
Aren't they supposed to be medically trained to know the difference?
You guys are.
Sorry.
That was the version of the frozen chicken.
You guys have just killed all my great bullshit questions with these jacked up answers. Flying chickens and medical professionals.
Damn, right between the eyes.
Yeah.
It's not what it was supposed to go. Man, you guys suck. All right, you guys, that is all the time we have. We have done it again. We have put episode number 10 in the books.
Yay.
Next week, we are having Chris come on to talk about acupuncture. He'll be our guest for the full hour. As always, thank you for listening to That's Some Crazy Shit. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Baez, James Baez. Keep an open mind.
Chin?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. It was fun.
All right. Until next time.
Ciao.
Adios.
Bye.